One of my clients made a post on the group saying he made $14,000 in his career coaching business and then ultimately decided that there's not a lot of money in career coaching. So I think that's a question that I get asked a lot as well, where is this profitable? Should I pursue this? And especially if someone's made $14,000 in a month and they think there's no money in it, is there truth to that? So I work with about 3 dozen career coaches at this point. I know the business model inside out. Here's some of the things that I think you should consider when it comes to launching a career coaching business and whether it's profitable, okay? I've talked to, I think, at least 300 career coaches in my time, and I've learned which ones are making money and which ones don't. And I'll spoil it right now. A lot of them don't make money. A lot of them, even the ones with 100K followers, a lot of them do not make money, and they don't even make money to pay their bills or pay their grocery bill. Okay, very, very little. So some things I want to point out that might help you with your business, even if you're just starting out or you've had a business for a while. These are some things to consider. The top earners in the business, the top career coaches, usually they're people with a very big audience. Okay. So they're people who have a big YouTube channel, a big LinkedIn following, and they can monetize that into a service. Their service usually looks like a mix of coaching and a course. So you'll join, they'll give you a set of video series to follow, and then you can come in, join the coaching calls once a week, twice a week, that kind of thing. Because they have so many people in their audience, they can afford to charge a little less and do high volume, or they can also have a high ticket version as well. So I know a lot of top earners do this. What they don't do is resume writing. What they don't do is individual cover letter writing, that kind of thing. None of the top earners I'm talking about top earners here, not top influencers, okay? Because there's a lot of top influencers who are broke and don't make money. Trust me on this. Just because they have followers does not mean they make money. So big audience, a coaching and course model hybrid is kind of what works the best. The other thing to consider is the disposable income of your niche. So if you're a career coach helping fresh graduates, good luck making money, because there's not a lot going on there unless you work very high volume, meaning you need to work with more people at a lower rate. Students also, I don't want to generalize, but they also tend to be less committed because there are more other things going on in their life. They don't really value coaching as much as business people do or people tenured in their career do, because they don't know how business works yet, right? As opposed to you working with managers, you working with mid-level professionals, they have a lot more disposable income. The other thing to consider as well is how much money can they afford to spend. So let's say someone's been unemployed for a while. They don't have a lot of money to spend. It's their last little bit that they have saved up, and to spend that money, it's hard for them. So if they're unemployed, if your niche does not have money, it's going to be hard for you to make money. So if you're, let's say, working with students, if you're working with unemployed people, if you're working with people who have no savings or people who are in debt, it's going to make it a lot harder for you to make money with that business as well. Of course, you want to help people, but you are also trying to facilitate your own business here. You can't do charity work. This ties into the third process, which is the sales process. Because they don't have disposable income, because they don't have a lot of money, it'll take you a lot longer to onboard the client. What does this mean? It means a lot more assurances. You're going to have to show them a lot more testimonials. You're going to have to give them a lot more guarantees. You might have to give them money back guarantees, all of those different things to give them a high enough level of assurance and certainty that this is going to work. Because think about it, if someone's unemployed and they don't have a lot of money and it's their last bit of money that they want to invest with you, they'll want to know it's going to work. They don't want to spend money on a nice to have. Of course, there are some people who want to make a career change, who have a lot of money, they just want a higher level of satisfaction. We'll talk about that in the next point. So your sales process will be longer. It'll take you more time to facilitate the sales process where people join your program. It'll take them more time to finally take the leap and believe you. So it's like you get rewarded less for more work, and ultimately you're also working with clients who they tend to be very anxious too about their job search, especially if you're working in the job search. There's constantly this, will this work? Am I on the right track? Did I spend money on something that's going to be worth it? A lot of people are running that in the back of their mind, so just something to consider, okay? Sales process tends to be longer. You need a lot more assurances. The next point is the urgency and pain. So a lot of the career coaches that I work with, they're kind of in 2 or 3 different buckets, okay? So you have the career clarity bucket, What do I want to do with my life? You have the skill set bucket. I'll teach you how to be more confident so you can get a raise. And then you have the job search bucket. So depending on which niche you're tackling here, different niches have different levels of urgency and pain points. So if someone's like, I've been working in this job for 5 years and I'm not really satisfied with it, I want to see what else is out there. And you say, okay, I can help you with that. My package is $3,000. All of a sudden they're like, well, you know what, it's not that bad. I do kind of like my job. Let me just stay here for a while. The pain isn't quite there. They know it's a nice to have, but the pain isn't there for them to take action. Something like a skill set development might be the same thing. Like, I'd love to learn more leadership qualities. I'm not sure if I want to spend $2,000 on it. However, if there's a pain of you're going to get let go from your job if you don't develop the skill, your numbers are lacking, or you haven't gotten a promotion in 2 years and you need to develop this, or you're really weak in presentation skills and you want to get more confident, higher pain point, meaning more people will be willing to buy. Job search tends to be the highest pain point. People don't have a job. They're looking for a job. They want that thing that they don't have. That's a very open pain point. The problem is, I've seen a lot of times, a lot of job seekers, they're also not exactly in the best financial position, right? So the pain point might be really high. They really need your service, but they might not be able to afford your service, or if they can afford it, they might not want to pay for it without knowing they're going to get assurance, which is natural. Like, they should get assurance, right? Is this going to work? Am I just paying for someone to tell me something that I already know? No one wants to do that. So career clarity, if you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Clarity comes up at the top, meaning people, they have money, they have a job, they're stable, but they're not really happy. They want more fulfillment. They want to move from one career choice to another career choice. So this comes out of their disposable income. They can afford to spend money on this. They don't have to do it. But then the pain point of this is not as high. Like, if you're charging more money than they want to pay, the pain isn't quite there, and they're like, well, I don't really need to do this right now. So there has to be a way that you facilitate this discussion in a way that makes them seem like they absolutely need this, or they need to invest that kind of money. Job search, high pain point. Unfortunately, a lot of people who are in the job search niche, not everyone, but a lot of people you'll find, they might be in a financial position that is not suitable to affording your package. Now, if you're working with mid-level professionals, executives, that might be very different. I've seen a lot of unemployed people who got let go from a six-figure salary and they've got a lot of savings, they can afford it. So this is by no means a vast generalization, but these are things that I have seen that will influence how much money you make. The other thing I want to talk about is the business model. People who make the most amount of money or the least amount of money do one-on-one coaching. That's just the truth, because there's only so many one-on-one clients you can take on until your week is packed up. You're doing sales calls, you're doing content, you're doing actual coaching, you're doing email correspondence between that, you're doing admin work. So one-on-one, the more clients you take on, the less time you have in the day, you can't really facilitate. So again, if we go back to the top earners, most of them do a group coaching model where they work with a lot of people in the community over group conference calls. That's how they make most of their money. One-on-one is not very scalable over a period of time either. You'll eventually hit a ceiling because you just don't have time. The other business models people do is they take a commission. So what they'll do is, I'll help you get a job at, let's say, Facebook or Google or whatever it is. And if you get a job, I'll get 7 to 9% off your paycheck from the first year, second year, maybe sometimes like 2 to 3 years or whatever. Or you can pay me X dollars, like $4,000 or $5,000 up front, and we'll help you. So of course they make a lot more money with this model here. You know, if Facebook is paying $200,000 and they're keeping 7 to 9% of it for 3 years, that's a lot of freaking money. But at the same time, it's a lot more risk to them because they have to work with you a lot more. They have to go out of their way and teach you things. Whereas here, they can just collect the paycheck and there's more risk to you. But at the end of the day, if you do end up landing that job, it's going to cost you significantly less. So it's a matter of how much risk you want to take. So when it comes to business model, most people, well, not most, just about everybody who's successful in this is doing some level of a group coaching model, because that's just how you scale a business. You can't scale it in one-on-one. And they'll have a mix between these two offers, like a package offer or a commission offer. That's how it'll work. some of the bottlenecks that I've seen with people who have a career coaching business who don't make money, and there are a lot of those people, is a reliance on one-on-one. They think one-on-one is the most effective, but if you look at colleges, universities, high schools, they all operate under a group coaching model, and it works just fine, doesn't it? It's the industry standard now, but for some reason, when we move into coaching, all of a sudden, everything has to be one-on-one. They're stuck here. Their prices are abysmally low, so $50 an hour, $100 an hour. Not only that, but then they can't sell a package. They'll make $500 and they'll get stuck for 8 weeks with one client, and you just cannot scale that. So prices are very low. There's no high ticket offer, which means anything around $1,500, $2,000, that realm, because then you require less clients, and a lot of charity work too. So you'll be doing a lot of freelance, a lot of pro bono stuff. I think there's a time and place for that. If you're starting out and you just want to know if you like it, you can do pro bono stuff, but you can't keep giving free advice. The other bottlenecks I see is free coaching, or I should say free accidental coaching on sales calls. So people get on a call with you and say, hey, can you check my resume? I'd love to work with you, but can you just give me some feedback? And then they start giving them feedback on their resume, their cover letter, their strategy in an attempt to build up their value. And by the end of the call, the client's like, well, you've given me enough information for me to know what my problem was. Thank you very much. I no longer need this. And then they won't come back. They'll ghost you, or they'll say, yeah, you know what, I thought about it. I think I'll go out on my own. So a lot of coaches, because they don't know how to do sales, they'll get on a call with somebody, coach them in an attempt to build value with them, solve half their problem, diminish the amount of value they can provide with the service they have to sell, and then these people will never come back. So you have to keep these things in mind. And also, pricing discussion. There's a very swift art when it comes to talking about your prices. If you're talking to somebody who doesn't have money, doesn't want to spend money, doesn't see the urgency of spending money, there's a way you bring up pricing discussion that makes them feel comfortable, so they don't say, oh, I want to think about it, I'll let you know later, and then they ghost you. If you've been a career coach, you know how often this happens. A lot of people will get people on a call with them, and they'll ghost them. Even if it's for like a $200 service, they'll say, hey, it's $200, what do you think? They'll get off the phone and then never contact them. So I've seen a significant lack of, if you want to call it sales skills. So this was one of the reasons why I put my program together, and I had a huge emphasis on sales, because people in the career coaching business, they're never taught this. They're never taught, how do you go out and get leads? How do you actually talk to somebody where they pay you money knowing they're going to get a certain result from you? They feel a high enough assurance of working with you. And then, of course, the last thing as well is imposter syndrome. I have met people with 10 years of HR experience, 15 years, 20 years of experience who have imposter syndrome, who feel like they can't help anybody, and because they're new to the industry, they shouldn't be charging money. It's a belief that baffles me, but it's very, very true. So because of this, they start charging less, they don't make money. There's this weird hamster wheel of they charge less, and because they charge less, their client is less committed and they get less results. Because they get less results, the coach feels like they're not a good coach, and then their confidence gets shattered. So every time they get a new client, they feel worse about how good they are, and no one gets anywhere. So there's this weird hamster wheel of no one's making any money, no one's getting any results, which can easily be solved by increasing your prices, getting a high level of committed clients, and doing what you do best. Another quick thing I want to throw out there is a lot of career coaches try to put their value behind a paywall. So, here's my webinar, here's my lead gen, whatever the hell, all these things, buy my thing, then I'll tell you. If you go to LinkedIn right now and you type in career coaches, you'll get like 50,000 career coaches all saying the exact same thing. Resume tip. How many resume pages should there be? Cover letter. How do you network? Everybody's saying the same thing. So how do you stand out? How can you have a wall in front of you and say, I'll teach you all my best stuff if you pay me, when everyone else is already talking about it? So my strategy, and you can see this on my content, I share everything for free. I will give you every single thing that's a part of my full course for free on YouTube, so you can see this guy knows what he's talking about. If you want your specific problem solved, if you want your specific questions answered, then you can pay me and work with me. But if not, then you can follow all my free stuff and get value. So if I'm thinking of all the people that I pay, is because they've given me so much value with their free stuff that other people are hiding behind a paywall. So yes, do your webinar, yes, do your lead gen, yes, they work. I am just a believer in giving everything away for free. Have examples of resumes that work. Have examples of cover letters that work. Walk them through it. Have examples of previous clients you work with. Do a case study. Show them how you help them out. Give them real information that they can actually use, and then they will trust you that, okay, this person is not hiding anything. They're telling me about their process because they've done this so many times before, because they're so open. I want to work with them as opposed to 49,000 other career coaches who say the same thing over and over again and try to link me to their webinar. So some things to consider: disposable income, sales process, urgency, model, and bottlenecks. Another last thing I want to leave you with is just realize some niches will just be more profitable than others, okay? If you want to learn how to dance, or if you want to learn how to let's say, I don't know, do calligraphy or something, you might have more disposable income to spend there. You might not have urgency, but you might have enough money to be like, oh, I can afford this. Like for right now, I'm hiring a fitness coach and I can afford to hire one because I don't have to worry about paying rent or any of those things. I have disposable income. But if you don't have disposable income, if you don't have a job, then it's hard for you to pay somebody to help you find a job, right? So career coaching tends to be in that bubble, unfortunately, where if your clients are not making money, it's going to be hard for you to make money. So if you're working with people who are transitioning between careers, who want to move up in their career, who want to get a pay raise, then yes, it's going to be pretty profitable for you to make money. But if you're working with a lot of people who are unemployed, who can't afford your service, if they don't make money, it's going to be hard for you to make money, okay? So hopefully this gave you some information. If this did help out, please make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Take care.